are the typical characteristics you can say? How will it be designed? And maybe then on a second stage, what are the differences to the UK system or the NPP in Australia?
There is a move globally. There is a group, several groups I think at this point, working to harmonise the standards and to try and make sure that as countries develop faster payments or instant payments, it's actually seamless, and we should be able eventually to tie some of these systems together. But if we start with just the euro situation, we will see multiple CSMs. That is very clear. We've seen a number of countries where a CSM is evolving a new service. We're about to see the Euro Banking Association launch a SEPA instant payments system or scheme. We're about to see something in the Netherlands emerge. We can see systems in Italy. We can see something coming out of Spain. So there are a number of different new systems. And how do we, therefore, as consumers or even as banks, try to figure out which one do I join? How do I move payments from one place to another? Where is my money?
But for the consumer, he's not concerned about this.
Hopefully.
So just said, I want to pay you. You fly back to the UK and I invite you for the coffee and you pay me, and neither you nor I are interested in which CSM we will use.
Yeah.
So we expect it to happen in 5 or 10 seconds and at low cost or no cost.
And we expect our bank to deal with it.
Right.
And I think that is for me an opportunity for the banks, because actually if I'm going to send money to you in Germany and I'm sitting in France, I really want to use a provider that I trust, that I know, and that I know where to go if something goes wrong. So if I send the money to the wrong person, at least I know who to phone up, and I know where I thought I sent it. So I think that really brings us back to Europe is complex, and we have many languages going on simultaneously. Our internet banking portals are all going to be different. So there is an opportunity there for the banks to create that seamless interaction for their client and to actually make it a much more effective and efficient service. But I think what we're trying to do at the moment is harmonise what is that expectation. Is it 10 seconds? The Dutch market has come out with 5 seconds, but they've also come out with different variants of a service. There's going to be a whole slew of really interesting products and services that spin out of instant payments in Europe.
For a retail person, is it really important to know if it's 5 or 10 seconds?
We might think from a sort of a technology perspective or from an efficiency and running a business perspective, 5 seconds is fantastic. I know that it's going to take me more than 5 seconds inside the bank to process that transaction. But actually, your customer has a completely different perspective. They're standing in a line, possibly with small children screaming at them, trying to pay for groceries. And they stand there and go, okay, that's far too complicated, so actually I'm going to do something else. Are they going to write a check? What is their option? So I think in that context, for many countries, it's about getting rid of cash. It's about reducing, in some countries where we still have a lot of checks, it's about reducing paper. It's about changing the interaction model, moving to digital, moving to mobile. And I think, honestly, it'll be mobile that drives this. Mobile is going to be the new paradigm where we're going to see
first.
It's all going to be mobile, digital first. And when we see in the UK the government digital agenda, which is very similar to the European single digital market agenda, actually this is about getting consumers using mobile phones, smartphones. The question around whether the customer actually even understands the difference between clearing and settlement, why would they ever want to know? And why should they know? And why are we telling people how complex all these products and services are?
You're right, but from the bank perspective, I agree, but the banks, for them it's important. Yeah.
But the customer just wants a green light, okay? They just want a little green signal that says, yes, it's gone. My money has gone to the person I've tried to send it to. In the sense of, in the background, if I'm sitting in the back of a taxi and I've just paid the taxi driver using my mobile phone, I want to know I can get out of the taxi and he's been paid or she has been paid. The taxi driver wants to know that they've definitely been paid before they let me out of the car. After that, what happens in terms of, does the money arrive in my account within 2 seconds? That would be lovely. The settlement at the back end between the banks themselves is mostly done on a deferred net basis in most systems, purely because of the efficiency and the collateral savings that are involved in those systems. there are many different models of doing that. They largely, across Europe, will require pre-funding because it's just too complex to depend on third parties that you have no business interaction with necessarily in order for the single market to function properly. So it is going to be quite complicated. There's lots of work to do. A lot of the CSMs are going to have to sit down with Target 2 yet again and figure out how to do this. But it's not overly complex. It's not too complex. I think we'll be able to work it out. And that's probably the work that we'll be doing in the next 12 months to 18 months to get this up and running.
Could you describe the timeline of instant payments we will now have from now on in Europe? And when will we do the first transactions?
The expectation is, certainly from the ERPB and the ECB standpoint, we're aiming towards the end of 2018 or early 2019 to have services up and running. And I think that that's probably more realistic for most of the banks. There's a lot of work to do.